What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Now, I was feeling something from 2013 because I just watched that Rumble event, which I kind of liked. But then I thought I owe you guys some Ruthless Aggression era content, so I decided to talk about this Rumble. Now, I already watched this Rumble before. I didn't watch it that long ago. By the way, if you guys want me to review a certain episode of Raw, like any classic episode, comment it down below because I'm willing to talk about some certain SmackDown or Raw episodes. Alright, let me just say this. 2005 and 2006 are probably my favorite WWE years ever, along with 2000. 2006 had a lot of bad things, but as a child, I really loved this time period. Like, it was so awesome to me. I just loved everything. DX reuniting, which sucked to some. Edge single-handedly bringing back the Attitude Era. Trish Stratus and Mickie James' storyline, which is so freaking underrated. I do want to talk about that feud, but I'd prefer to make a video on it during WrestleMania season. Which reminds me, I want to do some kinds of WrestleMania feuds videos, and I'm going to cover stuff like Savage and Flair, Austin and Michaels, Cena, Triple H. You get what I'm saying, basically. Right now, let's talk about the Rumble of 2006. Royal Rumble 2006 was held in the American Airlines Arena in Miami, Florida on January 29, 2006. Royal Rumble 2006 had an attendance of 16,000. The Rumble had a buy rate of 550,000, which was down from the 575,000 of 2005. This was around the time where Eddie Guerrero sadly passed away. It's just such an unfortunate thing that occurred during this time period. Anyways, let's get into the event. The first match was a Cruiserweight Invitational. Kid Cash defended the Forgotten Belt against many SmackDown superstars. These invitational matches are always awesome. This one is one of my favorites. Actually, this one is my favorite because this one was flat out awesome. I'm just gonna say, I love this match. I don't think it had a build-up though, so it was a match that you put on the card to waste time, basically. Cash defended the title against Jamie Noble, Funaki, Paul London, and Nunzio. The sixth man came out, and it was Gregory Helms. Helms was on Raw, but he was eligible for this match because he is a former Cruiserweight champ. Like I said, this match was fast-paced, and it was fun. My favorite spot of the match was when Helms executed the swinging neckbreaker on London. I just loved that spot. Every once in a while, I think about that spot. So awesome. Helms ended up winning this one by hitting the Shining Wizard on Funaki. Helms moved to SmackDown where he barely defended the title. Anyways, this was an awesome way to open the show. The next match was between Mickie James and Ashley. Oh, and Trish Stratus was a special guest referee. Right before the match, Mickie told Trish she loves her. Like, she just suddenly came up to her and she said, "I love you." Well, I guess it was obvious once that incident under the mistletoe occurred. Anyways, this mini feud started after Mickie cost Ashley the Women's Championship by interfering in her match and attacking her. She tried to help Trish retain the title, so that is why she interfered. Trish didn't want her help and she shouted at her. On the January 16th, 2006 episode of Raw, the three teamed up to face Vince's Devils. Yep, they were called that. Mickie and Ashley fought during the match, which led to the trio losing the match. The next week, Mickie James attacked Ashley after she teamed up with Trish. She was jealous and she would be pulled from Ashley by Trish. So that is how this match was made. I don't think there was an announcement for it. I think it was announced when they ran down the match card on Raw. As for the match itself, the next match was between... Hold on. Let me talk about the match. It was the worst match on the card. Mickie James had barely wrestled on Raw, while Ashley won the Diva Search in August, so it was clear that this wasn't going to be good. I mean, Mickie James is awesome, and Ashley wasn't the best wrestler, it was clear. I obviously knew they weren't going to tear the house down, so yeah, I didn't expect much from this. Mickie won this one, and from there they were building up to the Mickie and Trish match at WrestleMania. The next match was between Boogeyman and JBL. JBL, the same man who defended the WWE Championship at the previous WrestleMania, has fallen down the card and he was facing Boogeyman. Where's the logic in that? Like, JBL was the number 2 heel on SmackDown. Why would you have him face Boogeyman? Oh yeah, Boogeyman, didn't he lie about his age on Tough Enough? Also, do you guys want me to cover a certain season of Tough Enough? Because I think that'd be a unique idea. Like, I watched that season of Tough Enough and then I'll cover it. What do you guys think? Just comment it down below. Anyways, this feud started after Boogeyman came out of JBL's limo. JBL had just beaten Matt Hardy and he was on top of the limo when the Boogeyman came out. JBL ran away and Boogeyman grabbed Jillian and stuffed some worms inside her underwear. This is the most random thing I've discovered today. I binge watched WWE from 2006 on the network and I don't even remember this. The week after that, Boogeyman bit off the mole on Jillian's face. Boogeyman may not be the scariest WWE superstar, but he certainly is one of the most disgusting. The next week, Boogeyman distracted JBL during his match with Bobby Lashley, and after the match, Bradshaw and Jillian ran away again. On the final SmackDown before the Rumble, Boogeyman once again stalked JBL. This time, though, worms fell out from the top of the arena and JBL fell onto them. It was a mess. Now, as for the match itself, JBL tried to neutralize Boogeyman, but he just couldn't. Boogeyman no-sold nearly everything JBL tried to dish out. The match didn't last long, and it ended with JBL bumping into the post and Boogeyman hitting the pump handle slam for the victory. The last Royal Rumble saw JBL defend the WWE Championship. Now he loses to Boogeyman in less than 2 minutes. What the hell? Let me just mention something else. Do any of you guys know about that JBL storyline in SVR 2007 where he puts a bounty on the Rumble winner's head? Yeah, that's much better than this. Boogeyman would feud with a former world champion in Booker T afterwards, and that was probably even worse than this. And the Royal Rumble match. Now, this Royal Rumble match is one of my favorites. It's not because of the match itself, it's because of the result. Like, I just love the result of this match. Before I talk about the stories in the match, let me mention the backstage segments during the night. Vince was hanging out with Tori Wilson, Candice, and Victoria throughout the entire show. Triple H and Randy Orton came into the room to get their number. Orton was elated at his number, while Triple H arrogantly thought he's getting a better number. Instead, he got a terrible number. I think you guys know which number he got. Ray and Big Show got their numbers. Big Show's was probably decent, while Ray got a horrendous number. Ray looked up and he told Eddie that he got him. Let me run down the stories in the match. Triple H claimed he's winning this one. Carlito claimed that no one could eliminate him from the Rumble, which led to Kane coming out and throwing him over the top rope. RVD was returning during the match. Orton was considering cashing in his favor from Booker T. Mr. McMahon guaranteed HBK's luck will run out during the Rumble, and Ray dedicated the Rumble match to Eddie Guerrero. Right before the match, the Spear Squad came out and did a cheer. This was right around the time when they debuted, so the fans weren't that familiar with them. Anyways, Triple H started the match at number 1, while Rey Mysterio came out at number 2. Ray came out on a lowrider to honor Eddie Guerrero. Now, these Rumble matches aren't like the Rumble of nowadays where there's surprise entrants. Like, the only surprise entrant there was Tatanka, that's all. Triple H and Ray made easy work of Psychosis and Simon Dean. Triple H even eliminated both Kane and Big Show, and the ring began to fill up once Benoit came out. From there, it was a party in the ring. Booker T came out wearing tights, which was quite bizarre to me. I believe he suffered a groin injury, so that's why he wore them. Plus, he didn't last long. He lasted for 18 seconds before being thrown out by his rival Chris Benoit. The coach was an entrant in this Rumble. He was thrown out by the Big Show, so yeah. Now, during the match, there was this one story in particular that stood out. Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon. Eminem and Shelton Benjamin were looking to eliminate HBK from the Rumble. They failed to do so, and instead Shane McMahon suddenly returned and he eliminated Michaels from the Rumble. This was the official start of the McMahons and HBK feud. It began the previous month, but this was where it kicked up a notch. RVD returned and he went after Carlito, who was the same man who assaulted Van Dam's injured knee the previous June. RVD eliminated Carlito and he made it to the Final Four along with Triple H, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton, who entered at number 30. Van Dam was eliminated after Triple H threw Ray into him. Orton and Triple H formed a very short alliance to eliminate Ray. They failed to do so and they fought each other. Triple H ended up being eliminated by Ray and the crowd was excited at that. Like, once Triple H went out, everyone is happy. And then there was 2. Ray and Randy. Triple H interfered and he threw Rey Mysterio into the steel steps. He then threw the scraps to Randy Orton and Orton grabbed Ray onto his shoulder. Orton attempted to throw him over, but then Ray countered and head scissored Orton out of the ring to win the Royal Rumble. Well, damn, he did it. I mean, this was predictable, but who cares? I mean, if you watch a movie, you always assume the good guy wins. So that's what I'd compare it to. It's the journey to the end that counts. Ray wasn't even supposed to win this one originally. It was going to be Triple H. That's the rumor. Rey Mysterio lasted an hour and 2 minutes, which is the record, and I don't even want to hear about the greatest Royal Rumble, because that doesn't count to me. I enjoyed the Royal Rumble match as usual. It wasn't as good as others, but it's a Royal Rumble match, so I'm gonna like it regardless. It was such an awesome moment for Ray. I do think the Rumble should have main evented, but I'll get to that soon. The next match was for the WWE Championship. Edge defended his newly won title against the former champ John Cena. You guys know the story. Edge won Money in the Bank and he held the briefcase for 9 months before shockingly cashing in on a vulnerable John Cena at New Year's Revolution. In Joey Styles' words, Edge has shocked the world. Edge decided to celebrate his victory the next night on Raw, but it was no ordinary celebration. He decided to make love in the middle of the ring. I'd like to take this moment to pay respects to the kids who watched this episode live with their parents. Edge's celebration got a 5.2 rating. The episode itself got a 4.3 rating. The segment was the highest rated segment since Batista's contract signing, which drew a 5.0 rating. I believe Edge's victory got WWE.com 30 million views. I'm not sure about that though, because it seems like a bit of a stretch, but I think they said that on an episode of Raw in January. I'm not sure. Now, this is the reason why Edge calls himself the most watched WWE champion of all time. It kind of does make sense because that was a freaking great rating on Raw at the time. Like 5.2? Damn. Edge defended the title in an underrated TLC match against Ric Flair. It wasn't a classic, but it's a pretty memorable match in the history of Raw. During the month of January, Raw's ratings were higher than usual. What this tells me is that Edge equals ratings. It's simple. As for John Cena, he didn't like that Edge stole the title from him. On the final Raw before the Rumble, John Cena cut this really entertaining promo on both Edge and Lita. He tells the story about boy and girl, Edge and Lita, in some movie. He made a lot of hoe references, and he said that Edge is gonna get his ass handed to him at the Rumble. Cena stopped the jokes and said that he's gonna make Edge his bitch at the Royal Rumble. Now, I didn't really do the promo justice. Go watch it. You might like it, because Cena, tore into Edge. Basically, he destroyed him. Now, as for the match, John Cena entered in a spaceship. It's one of the most random entrances he had. I don't think we've seen something like this in WWE again. Not sure, though. I think it was supposed to be his entrance at WrestleMania 22, but they just decided to use it at the Rumble. Now, watching that entrance, did you expect Cena to lose? Who the hell's gonna expect Cena to lose once he made a damn entrance like that? Edge, before the match, made fun of Rey Mysterio, and he suggested to Rey that he should face the World Heavyweight Champion instead of him. The match itself was decent. It wasn't as good as their future encounters, but it was the first time they faced off. The most notable spot in the match is probably the spear Edge gave Cena onto the steel steps. Cena made a comeback near the end of the match, and Edge knocked Lita off the apron by accident. Cena capitalized on this by hitting an FU and locking Edge into the STFU. Edge tapped out, and he was a transitional champion. That's what they were calling him on commentary, and I don't think that's what transitional champion means. Now, I do think Edge should have kept the title because the ratings were at a high with Edge as champ. Plus, he fit the role as a heel champion perfectly. He was hated by me. I despised Edge at the time so damn much. As for WrestleMania, I prefer Cena versus Edge, but whatever. Triple H and Cena's match was really awesome to me, and Edge became a bona fide start in the hardcore match against Mick Foley, so it all worked out well for both of them. And the main event, Kurt Angle defends his newly won World Heavyweight Championship against Mark Henry. I believe this was the first time two former Olympians main evented a pay-per-view. Now, this was the main event. No disrespect to the competitors, but it wasn't the hottest story on Raw and SmackDown. I will get to why it main evented though later on. Let's start off with Batista. Batista was the man on SmackDown. He held the title for 9 months before suffering a torn tricep, which forced him to surrender the title. Teddy Long booked a battle royal for later that night. Kurt Angle came out as the surprise final entrant, and it was wild. He ended up winning the battle royal and turning face during the match. He eliminated Mark Henry to capture the championship. That week is one of the craziest in WWE history. The two champs lost their titles that they won at WrestleMania in the same week. Damn. After Daivari cost him a match against Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle fired Daivari. Daivari would then become Mark Henry's manager, and Henry beat Rey Mysterio in a #1 contenders match. Now, the match felt rushed to me. It wasn't good, obviously, but it was what it was. I mean, who should have faced Angle at the Rumble? Benoit, JBL? I would have preferred those two, but whatever. Angle won this one by using a chair and whacking Henry with it. Angle hit him twice with the chair, and man, were those some brutal chair shots. Henry kicked out at 2, and Angle decided to expose a turnbuckle. Angle performed a drop toe hold on Henry to send him into the exposed turnbuckle, and the Olympic gold medalist rolled him up to retain the title. Such a bizarre main event. After the match, The Undertaker returned, and he came out in a chariot. Oh, and Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, was one of the Druids. The Undertaker raised his arms and there was thunder, and then he dropped his arms and the ring collapsed. It was so random, but it was a good thing that these two were going to face off. And that is why this match main evented. They wanted to collapse the ring, and you can't really have a Royal Rumble match without a damn ring, so yeah. Now, this Royal Rumble was kind of bad, it was filled with filler, and the World Heavyweight Championship match wasn't really that good. This event relied on 2 matches, the Rumble and Cena and Edge's match. Those 2 matches delivered, but the main event didn't. That match didn't deserve to main event, in my opinion. Ray should have gotten the moment. Ray should have main evented. It's simple as that. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be angry if they didn't collapse the ring, because Ray main eventing is way better than that. I enjoyed some stuff on this Rumble, but it wasn't good. It's simple as that. The opener was awesome. The matches that followed that were horrendous. The Rumble match was good because it's a Rumble. It wasn't the best Rumble, but it was good. John Cena and Edge's match was decent, and it was the first time they faced off. And the main event was basically bad. It's simple as that. Anyways, make sure you hit a FU on the like button and perhaps an Eagle Slam on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.